Hi, I'm Devin Alexander, and I make your favorite foods. And I make them in a way that you can keep eating them even if you still want to be healthy. Now, I'm not talking tofu and carrot sticks here. I'm talking real food. When I was a kid, I would have eaten chicken Parmesan every meal if someone would have let me. I didn't care if it was fast food or fine dining. I definitely loved it. The mere thought of missing it made me think I would never lose weight, until I figured out how I could make it guilt-free. With my version of chicken Parmesan, you save 312 calories and 26 grams of fat. How could you beat that? Start with the chicken breast. Take the plastic off. Now, of course, in a restaurant, chicken Parmesan is breaded, so I want to bread it too. But I'm going to start by pounding my chicken flatter, because not only will it make you think you're having a bigger portion, it helps tenderize the chicken. Just give this a few pounds. Always start in the center of the chicken breast. See, it's bigger already. Okay, and then I have another one here that's already done. Now, the first step in traditional breading is flour. So we're going to do flour. I'm going to spike it with a little garlic powder, some salt, and some pepper. Now, it's really important when you're making healthier food, since you're taking all the oils, to add flavor back in. So that's what we've done here. Just mix that up with my hands a bit. Then dip our chicken breasts in. Then get all the excess off. You don't want to use too much. So you can do the second one. And then we just throw this in the fridge after covering it with some plastic wrap. It was really funny. A few years ago, I was making this, and I got a phone call. And I thought, wow, I'm just going to throw it in the refrigerator so it doesn't go bad. Well, it turned out that when I went back for it, it was more tender than it usually is. Kind of confused me for a couple minutes. But then I realized that in Chinese restaurants and a lot of other times, you'll notice there's some coating on your chicken or beef, and they add cornstarch to tenderize that. So I do it all the time now. And I think you should too. Get that done. That extra 10 minutes makes all the difference in the world. Okay, now we're gonna mix up our egg. Get that in there. And then I just go ahead and usually just grab the yolk and throw that in the sink right out of there. Getting rid of it actually saves you 5 grams of fat right there. Traditional breading, you'd put the whole egg. And then I just spike it with a little bit of milk. That's our second step. Whisk that together quickly. A lot of people use egg substitute for this, but I don't do that. I think it makes your breading softer and more, like, not nearly as crisp. It's much thinner, you've probably noticed that. Okay, then our third step is our breading, which I always spike with some parsley. Not only does it give it great flavor, but it makes it look prettier. Mix that up. And then we just bread our chicken. Put it in the egg first. And then into the breadcrumbs. Now you want to make sure, you notice I've been pushing it to the side of the bowl. You want to make sure all the excess egg drips off. Otherwise, when you put it in your breadcrumbs, you'll get globs of bread. Not a good thing at all. And then I'm going to spray this baking sheet. Get me, wash my hands off quickly. Spray the baking sheet with nonstick spray. There we go. Every once in a while, I actually will spray the top of the chicken when I'm finished, because then you get this great oily taste on the outside. And because it's such a light mist, you can't really tell. Or it doesn't add a lot of fat or calories. Okay, let's do our second chicken breast. Egg. And then we put it in the breadcrumbs. And you know what? Actually, I think I'm going to double bread these today. Sometimes, to get that real restaurant coating, you really should double bread them. So we'll stick this one back in here. And again, with the second one, it's really important that you let the egg drip off, because that can really clump a lot. More breadcrumbs. do that second one. Want them to be equal, of course. Nice crispy coating we're gonna end up with. There we go. All right. And then I'm gonna throw these in the oven. And I have another one already prepared. Now, of course, chicken Parmesan also needs sauce and cheese. So let me grab my cheese. Have a little Parmesan, a little mozzarella, gotta love that. Now, I've already heated up some sauce. I make sure, whatever you do, you use a low-fat marinara sauce. I always use my grandmother's recipe, but you can use any that's low-fat. But whatever you do not go to all this work to bread your own chicken Parmesan and then use a marinara sauce with like 10 grams of fat in it. I'm gonna put about a 1/4 cup on each of these chicken breasts. Perfect. And then add a little mozzarella. And then with the Parmesan, which we'll do next, you can either use the reduced fat stuff, like from a can, or you can use actual Parmesan cheese, just a little bit though. That has 100 calories and 7 grams of fat for just a little bit, for 1 ounce. So you don't want to overdo it. But you know, if it'll give you that flavor if it makes you think it's like the real thing, it's worth doing. Add our Parmesan. I'm using the reduced fat today. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and when I come back, I'm gonna make one of my other Italian favorites, 3-cheese manicotti. Ugh, I can't wait.
With me and stay.
Welcome back. Though I'm not a big believer in eating no carbs, I do think it's important to have plenty of lean protein to accompany the carbs I love. So when I eat pasta, I make sure it has plenty of meat sauce with great lean protein or an amazing cheese filling. My 3-cheese manicotti is a prime example. It satisfies my Italian craving, and I still fit into my jeans, which is so important. Okay, I have to check on my chicken Parmesan first, so let's go see how that's doing. I love it. Looks like it came right from a restaurant. So great. Let me taste that. Yum, so excited. Okay, now my version has only 301 calories and 6 grams of fat. The traditional one, same size serving, has 613 calories and 32 grams of fat. That is so good. Okay, now I'm gonna move back to my manicotti. First thing I do is put a little sauce in the bottom of the pan here. Now, I use my grandmother's sauce, but you can use any kind of sauce you want as long as it's low fat. If you want the recipe for my grandmother's sauce, go to discoveryhealth.com. There you'll also find all the details of the recipe. Okay, got that in there. Now we're gonna mix up our cheese. Gotta go to my refrigerator and pull that out. Some ricotta. I promised you 3 cheeses. Mozzarella and Parmesan. Yum. Okay. Now, I use fat-free ricotta cheese. Now, you may be turned off there, but don't be. This dish is one of those ones that every time I have a dinner party, my friends are like, "Are you making the manicotti?" Which I can't do every time, but it is tempting. It's that good. Get the Parmesan in there. And our mozzarella. You know, sometimes you think that a fat-free cheese isn't going to taste good, and I don't tend to use that in the singles and things, but with this kind of cheese, I think it is really good, especially once you put all the other seasonings in it. Now we need to add some eggs. Get those in there. Don't want any shells in your manicotti. And then I just pull these out with my hands. It's the easiest way to do it. Wash that off and we're ready to go. Now, each of these eggs right there saves 5 grams of fat. So right there we save 10. Add some parsley, which gives great color and flavor. Some garlic. Must have garlic in Italian dishes. And then just a pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper, and we're good to mix this up. I love this. My grandmother used to always make this when we were kids. So it not only just tastes great now, but it reminds me of home. A lot of people use a spoon to fill their manicotti shells, but I find it much easier to just put it in a bag. Just put a hole in the end of it, and you want to use the heavy-duty ones. Definitely can't use the flimsy ones or you're going to find yourself struggling with it. Scoop this into here. You're going to love this trick. I should have said, too, I used reduced-fat Parmesan and low-fat mozzarella because we don't want the full-fat stuff in there. Here, a little bit more. You know what? I'm just going to use my hands because it's easier. And they're clean, of course. Get that in there. Then you just spin it around. Stuff that way. Get some of these bowls out of my space. And then I'm going to put a sheet of wax paper on my board to put my manicotti on. Grab a shell. And then you just take this, twist it around, and squeeze right in there. So easy. Now, I know you might be tempted when you take them out of your hands to put them right into the sauce, but it's best not to, especially when you're watching calories and fat, because you want to make sure they're all filled evenly and that you've used all your filling. And if you have to pull one out of the sauce, it becomes a big sloppy mess, which is never a good thing. And then I have a few others that I already prepared. I'm just going to pull those out. Now we put them all into the sauce. Okay. Now, a serving of these, I eat 2 of them. And as I said, because there's so much protein in there, lots of cheese, you'll be full with 2. Okay, a couple more here. And if you're not, you can always serve it with a big salad, which is what I do. But I don't serve this dish with the chicken Parmesan unless I have 1 piece of manicotti and half a piece of chicken Parmesan. Otherwise, it gets to be a little too heavy. Get 1 more in there. Okay. This, put some sauce over the top. I'm a big sauce girl. You don't need to use all of it if you don't like that much, but I definitely like it swimming in sauce. And then add another touch of Parmesan. Ugh. And I use the reduced fat stuff again on this, but you can use the real stuff if you just put a little bit. You just don't want to overdo it with the full fat stuff. A little more. Can't go wrong with Parmesan, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in the oven. When we come back, I'm gonna make one of my favorite Italian treats, a lemon-amaretto refresher. So you're in a restaurant and you're starved. You think, oh, I'll just have a little piece of bread. Well, this right here, 100 calories and 2 grams of fat. So far, you're not doing too bad. Unless, of course, you're about to dip into the olive oil. With 14 grams of fat for this 1 tablespoon and 100 calories, you might want to go easy. Butter, 1 teaspoon has 35 calories and 4 grams of fat. Now, you're getting even more starved because the waiter's taking forever, and you've already taken a piece this big off this roll, which had 400 calories and 7 grams of fat. You put your butter on, not so much for 35 calories. And that's fine, but then he comes along, takes forever, and you wind up eating the whole thing. This is more than you should be eating in a meal. Welcome back. I'm Devin Alexander. So far, I've showed you how to make 2 different Italian options for truly enjoying your food while optimizing your health. Chiseled chicken Parmesan, and almost finished, is my 3-cheese Manicotti. Oh, wow. This is amazing. Now, normally, you'd want to wait and let it sit for 5 minutes. You bake it for 20 minutes, take the cover off, and then let it rest for 5 minutes. But I'm so hungry, I'm just going to dig in. So good. My version has only 403 calories and 8 grams of fat, compared to the same size serving of a traditional 3-cheese Manicotti, which has 671 calories and 30 grams of fat. So you save like over 250 calories and 22 grams of fat, and it tastes just as good. So now, my favorite part of the meal, as always, dessert. I'm gonna move on to my lemon-amaretto refresher. Let's grab my ice cream. Actually, it's lemon sorbet. This one is so easy, and your guests are gonna love it. Take about a half cup of sorbet. Put it in there. Now, I love to serve things in martini glasses because they just look so much more elegant. Throw a raspberry on here. Put a little garnish of mint. And then drizzle the amaretto over the top. Perfect. And if you want, you can finish it off with whipped topping. Up next, my favorite part of the show, enjoying the fruits of our labor. Did you know that pasta is the Italian word for paste? The nutritional quality of pasta, and even its taste and texture, depend on the flour. Here's some keywords to look for. Whole wheat means whole grain. However, it's hard to find whole wheat pasta without a little semolina added in, since it gives the pasta a better taste and texture. Multigrain pasta, on the other hand, adds dense grains or soy to wheat flours to make the pasta richer in protein. Rye pasta is also known as spelt and is particularly high in protein, fiber, zinc, and iron. So essential for all of us. And of course, there's my favorite, which is organic soybean pasta. It's made from 100% soybean. Now, if you're like me and you don't like soybeans, you might be thinking, are you kidding me? I'm telling you, it is so good, and it has more fiber than broccoli in it.